everyone, I am here today with a week 6 update on my 100-day project. It feels like this week has gone by super fast, but I've still gotten my crafting done every day and I did a YouTube short every day. So let's start with the projects I've worked on this week. So first of all, I finished my felt succulent kit. I think I talked a little bit about this in my last video. So this was a craft kit that I got for Christmas. It's a bunch of felt succulents. You can color them with chalk and then you just roll them up. They're like long strips of felt fabric that you just roll tightly into a little spiral and they make into these little cute little succulents. So I have finished all of those. And I think next I'm going to put some of these into a little piece of pottery I bought last year. And hopefully I will have that to show you next week. I also did a couple more mini masterpiece cross stitches by TheStitchPatterns on Etsy. So I did this one. It's Nighthawks, close-up of that painting. I think I talked a little bit about this one last week, so I'd started it last week. And then I also did this one, which is called Paris Street Rainy Day, I believe. And I actually finished the last of this on week 6, because we're a couple days into week 6 here. Or, sorry, week 7. So this one wasn't completely done in week 6, but most of it was. So these were the 2 cross stitches I worked on. In addition to doing these kind of like physical crafts, I also did a lot of work on my video backlog. I also created some video content. I've got a lot of stuff that I've recorded that I haven't edited into finished videos yet, so I took some time to do that. And so while that isn't like a tactile output of crafting, I do consider that creative output, so I count it towards my 100-day project. Although most days I did like a little stitching or these succulents. So for challenges this week, I talked a little bit last week about how I felt like my crafting was starting to become a habit instead of something I really had to push myself to do every day. So I feel like kind of a side effect of that is that I feel like my crafting is a little bit kind of ho-hum this week instead of anything that I felt was super meaningful. Not that I'm trying to do anything super meaningful with this project, but you know, I didn't do a ton of stitching each day. The only day I did a lot of what seemed like real getting my hands in there crafting was when I finished up this succulent kit. So I did all of that in one day. But other than that, I was just doing a little bit of stitching just so I could check it off on my list that I have done my crafting. Also been a little bit distracted from the project, so I just had a lot of things going on outside of my 100-day project. So it was a really busy week at work. And then in addition to that, I've had to take my cat to the vet a couple times. She's just recently been diagnosed with diabetes. She's fine. It's just taking a lot of getting that into my routine. So don't worry about her. It's just, you know, taking up a little bit of my brain space outside of my crafting time. I'm also dealing with a little bit of a messiness issue, which you maybe can tell from my table here. So last week I put a new shelving unit into my craft room. It's one of those IKEA cube shelves. And I think it's really going to help me with my storage space because I had a file cabinet there that really wasn't very functional. However, I'm in that stage of cleaning my craft room up and rearranging things, or just a complete mess. And here, I'll even give you a little look behind the camera here to see what I'm talking about. So yeah, there is stuff everywhere right now, and it's just a lot of things I need to get rid of, things I need to move around. However, I think it's going all right. It's just going slow, and it's, you know, taking up a lot of my crafting space. So most of what I've done has been sitting out on the couch, which is why I focused on these cross stitches this week, because I can do them anywhere. And it's, you know, it's so messy in here right now that I'm not sitting at my craft table, I'm standing next to it. But I think that will resolve fairly soon, at least getting it back into a workable space. And then at the same time, we are having some friends over this weekend. We are gonna have a party out in the backyard, but it looks like it's gonna rain. So we've had to kind of last minute clean out our garage, which was kind of in an equal state of mess to this room. And I've been trying to move stuff that I've been doing craft-wise out there back in here, and there's just not space for it. So I'm kind of overloaded with stuff all over the place, and you know, mess in my workspace kind of makes my brain feel a little messy. So I I don't feel so focused this week. But, you know, I'm in a constant battle of keeping things not a mess around me. So I even got this little pouch, messy by nature. That's totally true for me. But I think when I start organizing things, it does make me feel a little more creatively motivated, I guess. So I think throughout this cleanup project, I'll probably find things I've been working on, things I want to work on more, and it'll get me motivated for the next week. So speaking of the next week, I do have a nice long weekend coming up, so I'm hoping to use some of that time to just refresh, recharge my brain, get some things cleaned up, get a little more inspired to create. I'm also hoping to, pot my little succulents, like I said before, so that's a project I hope to do this week. Otherwise, it's probably going to be a little more cross-stitch just because that's so mobile. And then hopefully getting this space here cleaned up so I can do some more craft work, maybe another painting or another craft kit or just something I find while I'm cleaning up. All right, well, that is all I have for you for week 6. Like I always say, I feel like this project's going well. This week was maybe a little less inspirational to me than others have been. However, I've been proud of myself for keeping going because there were some days when I just got home from work and I was like, I'm tired, I don't want to do anything. But I did make sure I got at least a little bit of crafting done. So that felt good to push through and really stick with the project. All right, well, that's all for now. And thanks for watching and check back in next week.